single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Welcome to another episode of Jacob's Weekend Cooks. Today we're going to be smoking up some dinosaur ribs. And if you're asking yourself, hey Jacob, didn't you do that already? Just remember, these are not the star of the show. The star of the show will be prepared inside. So if you have any questions on how to prepare dinosaur ribs, I'm going to have a link in this corner, one of these corners, right? And if not, it's going to be down below in the description on how to prepare these. So right now we're going to let them do their thing, get that smoke, get cooked up the way they always do, and we'll work on the other stuff inside the house. Okay, while we got the dinosaur ribs taking their 1 hour rest period, we're going to start making the Pan De Campo or camp bread. I've looked online for a bunch of recipes because I've asked around, but nobody really wants to give their recipe because it's kind of like their family tradition, their family secrets, so they don't really give out their recipe. So what I did, I looked online and I found Texas Monthly had a recipe and other various websites did as well. The only difference on the Texas Monthly versus the other websites is how much baking powder actually goes into the recipe as well as the sugar. But pretty much every single recipe had the same ingredients, which is going to be all-purpose flour, baking powder, kosher salt, sugar, lard or shortening, and milk. So with that being said, right now I'm going to measure out 2 cups of AP flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of sugar, 6 tablespoons of shortening or lard. We're going to be using lard in this case. And then 3/4 cup of whole milk. Right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure out the dry ingredients. I'm going to put them into my mixing bowl, get them all kind of mixed in together, and then start adding in the lard and everything else. So here we go. Okay, we got all the dry ingredients all mixed up. Now is going to be the fun part, because now we got to mix in the lard. We got 6 tablespoons of lard, and depending on how you use, what way you're going to use mixing it in, you're either going to get a little dirty or very dirty. I assume I'm going to get very dirty because I'm going to use my hands to mix it in. What the recipe is calling for is for the mixture to look crumbly. I'm not too sure what that means, but right now I'm going to start mixing it up and then I'll show you what the end product is. Here's the end product after mixing it with my hands for a while. I think this is what it means by crumbly. Look at it. It kind of doesn't look like the dry product. It actually looks like it's kind of wet. So at this point, we're going to start adding in the milk. But you add in the milk slowly because you don't want to overdo it and then have a big old sloppy mess of flour. So we're going to add the milk in slowly and then get a nice little, not too sticky ball of dough. Okay, here's the consistency that I think we're looking for. It's sticky to the touch, but it's not too crazy sticky. What I'm going to do is bring it out from here and put it right here and knead it for about a minute. Don't freak out, people. I'm going to put flour here before I knead it. And once I get it to about where it should be, I'm gonna roll it in with like a rolling pin to about a 1/2 inch thickness and try to get it as circular as I can. I don't make tortillas, so I can't make no guarantees. And then once we finish that, we're gonna set it in this pan. The recipe on Texas Monthly calls for a skillet, a 12-inch skillet. I do not have a 12-inch skillet, so I gotta make do with what I got. I got this springform pan. I'm gonna coat it with lard all the way around. Not too much, just enough to get like a nice little fry on the Pan De Campo, and then we'll set it inside the oven. So right now, like I said, we're gonna get this kneaded up and rolled out. Okay, we've come to the kneading part. We already kneaded it for about a minute. Now it's time for me to roll it out. And like I said before, I am no tortilla maker, so this is gonna get kneaded out, rolled out to about 1/2 inch thick. It's probably gonna look like Texas, who knows. All I need is for it to be a 1/2 inch thick and for it to fit in this pan. Okay, like I said, I'm no tortilla maker, but this is pretty darn round if you ask me. And I'm gonna show you how I got it. What I did, I made it oversized. It's 1/2 inch thick, and then I got the pan that I'm gonna use and I put it over. Okay, and then I smashed it down, took off all the edges. And then what I ended up doing with those edges is this little funky piece you see here. I'm not gonna waste nothing. I'm gonna put it inside the pan. We'll know that's the messed up piece. But hey, remember, this is cooking. It's an adventure. So right now I'm gonna poke little holes in it, put it inside the pan, and put it into the oven at 450 degrees. We got the Pan De Campo inside the pan. I poked a bunch of holes into it. Now we're gonna set this bad boy in the oven at 450 degrees for 6 minutes on one side, but I'm gonna monitor that because remember, like I said, nothing is perfect. This oven might be running hotter than the other oven, so just I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna see if I can get a nice golden crust on this side, and then it asks for you to bring it out, flip it, and then put it back in for another 6 minutes. So here we go. We're gonna get this little process started. Hey, it looks like it's got a nice golden crust on top. Now it's time to flip it. I brought it out of the oven to do the flip, and then I think this is a nice golden crust on the exterior. We'll see what the other side looks like. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got it flipped. It does look like it got some nice crust on this side. So I'm thinking what happened was the heat is gonna crust this exterior on both sides. So really, we're gonna get that flavor, I guess, all the way throughout. Like I said, we got another 6 more minutes to go of this, and then we'll check it again. Okay, we finished 12 minutes inside the oven at 450 degrees. So yeah, I guess it takes a while for it to develop this crust, but listen to it. It sounds exactly like what Pan De Campo should sound like. Now as for taste, I won't know till I cut it open. So I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit. I'm gonna get some butter, because of course you gotta put butter on everything. And then I'm gonna cut it up. Pan De Campo outside of the pan. What I did notice when I took it out of the pan, guess what? The piece that I Frankensteined into it fell right off. That's fine, it's not a big deal. Like I said, we're not trying to win no competitions here. This ain't going to the Pan De Campo contest. Either way, there's not one in San Diego anymore. So anyways, yeah, it's nice and crispy. When I was cutting into it, you can see the edges folding over. So yeah, it's got a nice crust. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut them open into nice little pockets, and I'm gonna stuff them with the rib meat that I have from earlier. So give me 1 second while I get everything prepped up, and I'll show you the final result here in a little bit. Okay guys, I know the star of this episode is the Pan De Campo, but every barbecue video has that nice barbecue shot, right? So in this video, we're gonna have that shot. But look at these 3 bone dinosaur ribs. And if you want to know if they got that jiggle, they got that jiggle. Woo-wee! We're gonna be eating good tonight. And of course, who can forget the money shot? Man, I'm sorry guys, I told you this is not the star of the movie, star of the show, but look at this. Oh my god. I know y'all gonna want a piece of this, but trust me, this is not the star of the show today. Okay guys, I got everything plated up, and like I said before, the dinosaur ribs are not the star of the show. The star of the show is this Pan De Campo. I would like to shout out to Texas Monthly Magazine for putting that recipe online. Without that recipe, I would have not been able to make this Pan De Campo. Yes, there's other recipes online, but the one I trusted the most would be Texas Monthly. Anyways, yeah, it's exactly what I expected a Pan De Campo to taste like. It's not going to taste like, say, your uncle, your brothers, your sisters, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But it's something to get you started. Something to, I guess, open up the door to you cooking Pan De Campo. So with that being said, we could always tweak this. Like I say in all my videos, no recipe is perfect. It's up to us to cook them and try them, right? Well, that's what I did with this. I was a little worried because I've never cooked Pan De Campo before. And to be honest with you, baking is not my forte. That's more my wife's deal. So for me to pop out the flour and the baking powder and all this other yada yada stuff, I got a little worried. I thought I was gonna mess it up royally, but it came out pretty good, and I like it. It tastes exactly like Pan De Campo should taste like. So with that being said, I'm gonna enjoy this meal. I'm gonna put the recipe in the description down below, and I'll give you a link to that Texas Monthly website. And what else do I gotta say? Oh yeah, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And I'll catch you all on the next one. So this is Jacob saying peace. And also, I'm going to go get full. Later.